since I'm known for my height and since I'm known for my perspectives, that's how I will name it as Oonche Vichaar. And that's the real story. That's why the name is there. So, what was your story behind naming it Forza India Academy?
Well, so one thing, the word Forza is Italian, which means come on, the literal translation. And because, I've been a fan of Italian football, this is a commonly used term with any sports team. So be it a Forza Roma or Forza Italia. Funny thing is that Silvio Berlusconi, the former AC Milan owner and former Prime Minister of Italy, also had a political party called Forza Italia. Forza Italia is something that you actually never hear in the stadium, but it's just there. And this is something that the word Forza came into place because of the connection over there, and it is a rally, it is a cry that come on India, and our goal is to have every child playing football, a ball at every child's feet. So, Forza India literally means that, come on India, start playing football, just take a ball, go outside and start playing. And it's as simple as that, no complication, no claims that तुम्हारा बच्चा इंडिया के लिए खेलेगा या मुंबई सिटी के लिए खेलेगा, बस तुम्हारा बच्चा खेलेगा, बस वो हम लोग देख लेंगे. We'll try to teach whatever we know. We'll do our best in terms of coaching. We'll not make a child run 5 rounds, don't worry. Whatever knowledge we have, we will try to pass that on and ensure that your child actually learns about football and also about some other skills as well. So that, it's as simple as that.
Ajay, with you in the grassroots scene and with many other people who are taking care of the kids who are the future superstars in Indian football, what do you feel is the right way ahead in terms of the linkage? We discussed about the linkage. There's a missing gap between the lower level and the top tier. That's the broadcast product. How do you see that changing? And if you don't see it changing right now, what would you want to see in that space?
Well, firstly, you need, your under 13, under 15, under 17 I-League to the junior, sub-junior and youth I-League to be much more longer and much more inclusive. Right now, it's only sustainable by the clubs who are in ISL or who have, a long history like a CESA Football Academy, or, when you have a brand on board. So clubs in Rajasthan have banks who are helping them and stuff like that. So it is only the select few who can actually play in these tournaments. So it's a huge financial cost. So number one, you need to have more clubs playing in the youth tournaments, and you need to make it sustainable so that it's inclusive and open for all. More games would mean that these kids have more opportunities to play. And right now, I know that the under 13 I-League is 11v11 in an open size ground with a full size goal, and it happens for 2 months. It doesn't work like that, man. I mean, you need to have a longer league, and preferably, have a nationwide tournament or at least a district-wise tournament. Nation is too ambitious. At least a district-wise tournament, which is a fair tournament, right from U8, U10 and U12, so that the kids can, progress from 5v5, 7v7, 9 to 11v11. Directly, you can't put a child, man. I mean, it's difficult for us as well to, kick a ball from one end to the other in an open-sized pitch. Just imagine a 12-year-old trying to do that. So I think that's the number one objective that the bodies and the federations have to make. And number two is when it comes to senior football, we know that these guys need to get more games, and we should also have a reserve league for crying out loud, because there is a lot of problem of foreigners playing and getting all the playing time in the ISL or even in the I-League for that matter, barring a few clubs in the I-League. But having a reserve team league would ensure that all these guys can get a chance to play week in and week out, get a proper 40-50 odd game season up and running all throughout. And I'm telling you, we won't get any absurd claims that India will qualify for this World Cup or India will do this. It'll just happen automatically. It's going to happen. So that's like the short answer to it, because if I start speaking in length, we can go on for several hours. But
3 Insta lives.
yeah,
Go
absolutely, absolutely.
on.
But just to keep it short,
Yeah.
that would really help. And someone needs to regulate the school leagues. I don't know about other districts, but I know the MSSA and DSOs are just way
Yeah.
outdated. And I can share an experience where there was a DSO. Yeah, I think the DSO match that was decided on penalties. It was a knockout game because they didn't have the ground. They didn't have the time. They didn't have the ground. They didn't have
Yeah,
the
yeah. It was in the newspaper as well. I read about it. It was
correct. So just
really,
imagine,
really
man, you
crazy.
travel for 2 hours to get to a ground
Hmm.
just to decide the winner through penalty.
Yeah.
It's just
Penalty
absurd,
shootout.
man.
That's
Absolute absurd.
yeah. Yeah. So, Ajay, a lot of grassroots activities, including academies and even initiatives like Just for Kids, that's a part of enabling
Yeah.
leadership. All of this happens primarily via CSR funding because there are regulations that you could say bind the organizations to contribute a certain percentage of their profit if it's above a certain benchmark.
Right.
So that is enough for organizations to sustain the NGOs or the grassroots. But just depending on the CSR contribution, do you see a secondary league starting that would consist of under 15, under 17, under 13 kids playing a tournament similar to ISL? Is it realistically possible, or do you feel that we will have to go beyond just CSR funding to make such a tournament or league happen?
I think we'll need to go beyond. We will need to, because everything is so expensive. To even get a ground, rent out a ground is quite expensive in especially in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore. So you need your brands, you need your corporate guys to come there and invest in the game. And also, we need better facilities as well. Like if a state federation has got a brilliant ground, and who if they can give it away for a fraction of a cost of what they're charging right now, it would definitely help the game grow. So the thing is, with the CSR activities, with the NGOs, you're bringing in kids who otherwise would have gone into something else. Now they're playing football. Then you have your I leagues in place. Just to supplement that, if we can actually have a much more inclusive league with corporates, with brands, with with a proper structure and a pathway for kids to move from youth into the elite sphere, that would be of great help, man. I mean, you've seen that in cricket, like in cricket as well. With the course of time, there's so many different options that have opened up. There's so many tournaments that happen. And I think Manas was mentioning this in the previous live. Even though the IPL started, the Ranji Trophy is still running. The Saeed Mushtaq Ali Trophy is still running. The Kanga League is still running. So I think that's something that you need with football as well. You need the kids to play as much as possible, and in the grassroots, it's all about playing and developing that pathway into youth further on to elite football is something that we need at this point of time.
So the next question that I'm about to ask you is not really related to Forza India as such, but the grassroots organizations in general. So these organizations primarily deal with kids or children who are under 13 or under 15. And as we all know, it's a very impressionable age. Like the kids can learn the most, you could say appreciable skills, or even go down the wrong path because someone influenced them wrongly. So you as the founder of the academy, Forza India Academy, and even other, you could say founders of various other academies, are there steps taken to ensure that the people in the team, the grassroots team, the academy teams, are going through background checks to make sure that everything else is sorted in terms of them not ending up being a negative influence on the kid? Because if the kids get impressioned by something negative or toxic, that damages the reputation of the whole brand.
So 100%, man. I mean, because apart from football, they learn a lot of life skills as well, on the pitch. So it is extremely crucial, where or how we are hiring someone or getting someone on board, because we don't want the kids to pick up these things on the football pitch and then take it to their houses or to their schools, you know. So I think the first thing that any academy, any club would see, that if the coach has an innate knowledge of the game, has got the requisite licenses, or it doesn't have the licenses, at least has the hunger and desire to learn about how the game is played, or depending on the philosophy of the club. Number two is, of course, it's just like at any normal workplace, the things that you look for in when you hire someone is applicable here as well. Here even so more, because not all kids are the same. They're very sensitive, as you said. They're impressionable at this age, so it is very, very crucial that we sort of don't send them down the wrong path rather, and try to teach them things beyond football as well. Simple things like respect, like leadership, like communication, like taking accountability, taking that onus for your team. Those are some soft skills and skills that you pick up on the pitch that you can actually use it outside as well. So not every club or not every academy is going to produce players for the Indian national team or for your district team, but at least we can help in these kids becoming into better human beings, and that's the most beautiful part of sport. So be it any sport that you play, a team sport or an individual sport, you learn so much. It's just mind-blowing that how much sports can teach you, and how the Indian education system has kept sport at a sideline and has made it into something very competitive, or very, I would say, non-mainstream as such. So I think if we can get more sport into the system, it would really help to create better kids, or better human beings rather.
True. So if I was a grassroots coach, or if I was the head of an academy, I might claim that I understand the emotions that kids go through. I might say that I am someone who is empathetic, and I can take care of any kind of trauma that a kid might go through. Maybe he might have had a bad game. Maybe he might have had a fun bet with a fellow teammate, saying that today I'll score more goals than you. And for some reason, the other kid ends up scoring 10 goals, and this kid scores only 2 goals. So, as you could say stakeholder, right at the very top, how important is it for me to consider that I also have a mental health trainer in my team? Because that's not something that is seen a lot in grassroots academies. So, how important is it in your perspective?
I think the most important thing here is communication. Communication has to be strong, and when you see in a startup is much more of an intimate environment, because people are working non-stop towards one common goal. It's a small bunch of people, and they spend a lot of time together, and the communication channels are a little more open than the regular corporate life. So similarly, even in our football academy, the team is small, but what we've been encouraged to sort of do is to always have an open communication channel, and that goes down a long way. So we can discuss it as a group. For example, head coach can or a technical director can talk to the coaches, and it can be a group discussions, or it can be a one-to-one where a specific topic is spoken about, and on a personal basis. But keeping that channel open of communication is key, and obviously it's wonderful to have a mental health trainer or someone, a psychologist, sports psychologist on board, but not a lot of clubs or not a lot of academies can afford to have a professional at a full-time capacity. So you obviously try to talk it out. If need be, we can go for counseling. We can do one session with a sports psychologist as a team, or on an individual basis. But it is extremely crucial that mental health is prioritized upon, especially given the fact that the kids in today's times have so much of pressure from everywhere, be it in excelling in academics or even in sport, as we just discussed, where there's a lot of pressure to perform. So I think that would go sort of a long way in terms of improving overall morale and improving results as well.
When we talk about grassroots and then we discussed how we do the transition from grassroots to the upper levels, how important is it being so sustainable that let's say you have 100 kids at the base. Now when we look at the pyramid, it is the shape is so that not all 100 will go up. There will be 100, then the next layer will be 50, 25, 12, and then it keeps getting less. But when a kid joins an academy, no parent would like to hear or get to know that his kid or her kid can't make it to the top level. So according to you, how important is the integration of sports and education at a very central level, that when people start playing at a young age, they don't have to worry about if they'll end up being the next Tendulkar or Kohli or Sunil Chhetri?
Yeah. I think it's very, very crucial that be it anywhere, even at Tata Football Academy, whoever is in charge, they tell the kid or the parent that you're not going to make it into the national team. As simple as that, because only a small percentage do. So I had watched a very interesting documentary about French street football, and this is the guy who's given the likes of Riyad Mahrez, and some other stars who played on the streets of France. So he tells this to every parent that you're enrolling a child, but he or she is not going to make it. Forget it. Just तुम पकड़ के चलो कि तुम्हारा बच्चा नेशनल टीम में नहीं खेलने वाला. वो खेला या खेली, it's a bonus, it's a win. But along with this, you can actually learn a lot. I mean, you become a fan of the game, right? Why you play football is because you love the game, and especially during grassroots or during that 6 to 12 years, that is what we need to inculcate. And I know a lot of clubs and academies send this message out to parents ki I'll ensure that your child plays with Mumbai or with Maharashtra or wherever. National team to खेलेगा, 22 में debut करेगा ये. So it's just a very horrendous way of going about things. Having said that, create a pathway for the talented kids. So every club and academy has that. I mean, should have that pathway in mind, wherein if we find that a child is progressing, you have that natural progression to send him or her to another club which is higher in the pyramid, or much more professional than yours. So you have that step in place, so you never hamper someone's progress. If a child is doing well, I know for a fact that in the grassroots of Mumbai, वो अभी भी है वो कि अरे यार वो ऐसा खेल रहा तो वो मेरा एकेडमी छोड़ के जाएगा तो और कहाँ पे जाएगा. बट यार जिसको जाना है वो छोड़ के जाएगा eventually. But you as a stakeholder should at least have that funda in place that nothing is greater than a child's progress. If a child is doing well, it's a good thing if he leaves. अगर Forza India से कोई बच्चा मुंबई सिटी में जाता है खेलने के लिए, it's a matter of pride for us, man, because we've helped the child some part of his whole life, and we've ensured that the child is given that platform to progress. So that comes hand in hand, and I think that should be the mentality should be that progress over anything else.
A concluding question for you: what is Ajay Menon's to-do list at a professional capacity moving ahead in the next 5 years? What does Ajay Menon want to achieve? Any 3 important things in the next 5 years?
Well, firstly, I think in terms of getting more kids to play the game would be the number one priority. To have much more centers to collab with like-minded academy owners, because the coronavirus pandemic has hit us really, really bad. All grassroots sport have been affected, and there is no sight in terms of a financial package or help coming from the government or anything like that at the moment. So I think now will begin a great period of recovery, and in recovery I believe that there is an opportunity where we can actually work with other clubs, other academies, and try to come up together. Instead of going Atmanirbhar, we can actually form a synergy and together come up as a community, because this is what it is. I mean, the reality is that a lot there's been no sport over the last 2-3 months. So, and this is during the time of summer camp. I mean, we started on this note, right? Because April and May are when you see a lot of kids actually coming up and playing the game or taking up a sport. So we've been very badly hit. So this is given us an opportunity now to come together and rise up and try to rebuild what we've lost. So that is number one. Number two is, we are working on this project called Humans of Indian Football. We want to put football on the map, cover as many regions as possible, get as many stories as possible. Because that is what would help football come into that, into the eyes of the common man. Because right now, if you see in terms of sport, it's always been cricket. So we want that attention, and we believe through social media or through content, we can actually put Indian football or the stories of Indian football on the map out there. And number three is, I mean, this is not something that I would aspire, but I would definitely want to get into two aspects of football. One is the youth football, of course, that's under 16, under 15, and into women's football as well. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, to get into girls football. We have a coach with us. She's been working with us for quite a while now, and it is a collective failure on my behalf that I have not been able to give her a girls team to manage a coach. We've coached girls, of course, but we've never had a girls team per se at any specific age group. So these are the three things that I would really want the team, Forza India and the HOIF team, to get into in the next 3 to 4 years.
Sure. My best wishes with you and the whole team that you go on to achieve it. And I, in my personal capacity, would do anything and everything that helps you achieve that, and you and your team. Yeah. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. This was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Adarsh. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Take care. Good night.
Take care. Good night.